I, Peter Thompson of Thompson Smiley Foundation. We've arrived in Fish Hoek today. We left Ceres and came into Fish Hoek High School, and we're just waiting to arrive at the high school during their second break. Congratulations to all the sponsors who sponsored us along the way. Thanks for your effort, thanks for your contribution. It's been an awesome tour. The cyclists are very, very happy to have arrived here safely, and I must say they are incredible. They are machines and rode incredibly well. And the celebrity for the day is Brayton Paulser. So the virtual ride, go and watch the virtual ride, get on and watch us fight this wind into Fish Hoek. It was a crosswind and it really was pumping, and we had to get in behind the van and tuck in, and the speed was very, very low. But go and enjoy our final destination, which is Fish Hoek, and you can see out here the beautiful ocean. It is blowing a gale, but it's been really, really nice. And yeah, well, thank you for joining us on this tour. We really appreciate all the contributions that have been made for the two pupils at Fish Hoek High School, and just enjoy, and thanks again, and hopefully see you at next year's tour. Thank you.
Day 12 today, the final day. We are in Wellington at the moment. The team overnighted in Ceres. Bairnskloof unfortunately is closed to roadwork, so we couldn't ride over Bairnskloof. We made the decision to drive around to Wellington. The team will cycle from Wellington into Fish Hoek High School, so all on road bikes, 90 kilometers. We meet traffic police escort at the top of Baden-Powell, who will escort us all the way along Baden-Powell into Fish Hoek High School. So it should be an interesting day. Everyone's obviously full of excitement, it being the last day, and ready to get the tour under their belts. And yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Let's go, Barn. Last day, last day, last day, guys. Yeah, last day, mana. Nice beats.
Thank you.
To be joined Paulser, our day 12 captain, which is Ceres to Fish Hoek. He's going to take us to that finish line. Brayton, I was just reading up on where you were born. Koa Bokkerveld Mountains. That sounds like a lekker.
Yeah, Lee, the Koa Bokkerveld. I don't think many people know where it is. Obviously, the closest town is Ceres, and I said to somebody actually yesterday, I wouldn't change my upbringing for the world. You know, we had such amazing memories when we grew up as farm boys and girls, and we had the best time. I tell you, if I compare life to back then, I'd rather prefer the farm, you know, the calmness, the peacefulness. And yeah, that's my upbringing. So there's an area that it's called the Tankwa. So the Tankwa is very tough. I've done some mountain biking in that area. It's really, really tough. And hopefully when the guys get here, they'll get some good weather, because it can get really, really cold. Like, you know, it can get snowy, and then it can get really, really hot in summer.
Oh my goodness, yeah, that doesn't sound very pleasant. But now you're talking about Tankwa. Is that your reference to the Tankwa Trek?
Yes, correct. That's where it is. In fact, the farm that I grew up, the farm where the Tankwa Trek is hosted is like, you know, 5 km from our farm. So I'm very familiar with that area. And there's some steep mountains and rocky mountains, you know. It's not like manicured single tracks and that kind of stuff. So, you know, for people who've done the Tankwa, it is one hell of a race. And many people measure, especially the pros, you know, they do the Tankwa before they do the Epic, because I say to people, if you can do the Tankwa, you can actually do the Cape Epic.
Okay. Now, take us back to your rugby playing days, and maybe the build up to that, because, you know, you mentioned this farm that you grew up on. I mean, what was the journey like to becoming this Springbok rugby player?
Yeah, Leah, I mean, as young boys and girls, I think we all have dreams. Sometimes, you know, it's not possible for all our dreams to become reality. And I was really, really fortunate growing up on the farm. The farm owner, Mr. Charlotte Toy, was a really, and still is a really special man. And the area where I come from, there weren't many opportunities in terms of, education. I mean, there were schools, but the trend was when you finish school, you literally go and work on the farm. And I was very fortunate, the farm owner saw potential in me, and he saw that, I've sort of had something special in me. And I think that's where my life sort of turned around. And when I got to matric, the trend was to go and work on the farm and ask the boss for a job on the farm, and Mr. Du Toit called me in his office, and I was like, yes, what's going on? The only time the boss calls you into his office, it means you're going to get a hiding or some sort, and that's pretty scary. And I'll never forget that day when he called me into the office and he asked me what I'm going to do next year. And obviously, at the time, I mean, my mom wouldn't have the finances to send me to university. And Mr. Du Toit that day, opened his heart to me and said, he called me Brady since that time. And he said, Brady, I'm going to send you to University of Stellenbosch. And, that's the day when my life changed. Somebody else saw an opportunity in me. And, for the world, I wasn't sure whether I was dreaming or whether it was a joke. But it only struck me the next day when I went home to mom and said, listen, Mr. Du Toit is going to send me to university. Thankfully, my points were good enough. And yeah, I was like, man, I got to make this happen. I never thought that other people saw potential in you. And I wasn't going to fail for the world. Obviously, I went to go study, and rugby was a bonus because I always loved the game. But I never thought I was going to get to the heights that I went to. So it actually, motivated me extra, and just the inspiration that Mr. Du Toit put into me. There was only one way, and it was going forward and going to achieve something in life. And I'm forever grateful for what he has done for me. And I think what the guys are doing with the Smiley Foundation is that it's just amazing to give opportunity to other people and make them believe that there are people who care for them, people who love them. And if we all, show compassion to, especially, kids who never had the opportunities, it makes a big, big difference. It goes a long way by just showing them support and make them understand that, man, the world's your oyster. We know that the circumstances are tough. And let's be honest, I mean, there were days in the house when, I didn't have food as well. I walked to school sometimes bare feet. So I know all about that struggle. So, and that's why I'm so happy that there are still wonderful people, like the Smiley Foundation that make sure that, kids are going to get opportunity. It really, makes my heart full.
It's fantastic, and it's so great to have you as part of this as well. Because, Brayton, I think looking back over your rugby playing career, I mean, you were a Bok from 1999 to 2007, 64 tests, scoring 26 tries. I mean, I think some of those tries are still, burnt on my brain because there was something just special about you. I think you are considered to be a national treasure. And I remember you doing your flickbacks, your trademark. I mean, what is some of the things that really stand out for you when you look back over that career?
Yeah, again, Lee, I think if you speak to any Springbok or person that represented their country, it's all about that first day when you make your debut, for your country. That is pretty special because you obviously get a call and the coaches will let you know, listen, mate, we saw enough talent in you. This is your week. Prepare mentally, prepare physically, and go out and enjoy yourself. And sadly, sometimes it doesn't go the way you want to, but I had a sort of dream debut. I was very fortunate. It was in Gqeberha, those days, obviously Port Elizabeth, and Mr. Du Toit and all his kids and my mum flew down. So again, it was sort of a moment where I wasn't going to let them down. It was all about them for me. But I tell you what, Lee, I was pretty damn nervous that whole week when I got that call because you work so hard to get to that moment, and you don't want to stuff it up. You want to do well, but also you understand that you need to stay within the structures of the team. You don't want to go do silly stuff and all of a sudden, get a rush of blood and do stuff you're not supposed to do. So the excitement, the nervous energy as well, you had to almost channel to a sort of calm situation where you had a balance. And again, that day, it so sort of happened like a dream that I scored my third try on my debut, and a lot of emotion came up to me. And I remember back in the day, our farm boys, we went out every weekend on a Sunday. We went to go look for snakes in the mountains. We went to go swim in the dam, especially in summer. And all of us, there were about 20 or 25 of us. We all did flick flacks and bola kisses and all these kind of things. And when I scored my third try, knowing that my mom and Mr. Toy and his family were there to support me and shouting on their lungs out, I needed to do something. And it just came out. I'm like, I want to do this for the boys in the farm, and I did the flick flack. And only afterwards I actually realized, the adrenaline that went through me at the time. So it shows you when you're in a zone, a lot of things can happen. And I want to appeal to those kids that, try and get into that zone you've never been. And I tell you what, a lot of things can happen. I mean, it was all just a dream to become a Springbok one day. And, I worked so hard and sacrificed, against all odds, because as things just doesn't happen in life. I mean, there's a lot of odds against you. I mean, the media at the time said, no, Brady's too small, he will never make it. There are even times that people, talk as me as a quota player. But I always say to kids when I go to schools, you can only control what you can control. And don't worry too much what people say about you. Deep down inside, everybody has a talent, a God-given talent. And I think it's up to you to unlock that talent. And with a bit of help with friends and people that care for you, you will move mountains. And that is, essentially my message to kids.
Britton, I'm wondering, when last have you done a flick flack? Can you still?
Lee, I did it on the golf course last year, and I almost pulled a hemi. My hamstrings weren't happy with me. I wouldn't suggest that I do it anymore. I'm going to pass the baton on to the likes of Tess and Colby and Sanazla and Mapimpin, these guys. So hopefully one day we'll get a guy again doing a flick flick in a Springbok jersey.
Brady, I'm just thinking of a guy that you may remember, Jonah Lomu. I mean, he was, without a doubt, one of the players that I think, will be long remembered for his exploits, and probably just also because he was a giant of a man. I mean, what was your take on, playing against him?
Yeah, Lee, it was kind of scary. I mean, he was this icon of world rugby that, sort of changed the way rugby was played as well. Obviously when Jonah came along, he scored twice for fun. He sort of ran over people for fun. So it was frightening watching him, let alone playing against him. So I had the opportunity to play against Jonah, I think more than 12 times, and thank goodness, he never had a one-on-one where he sort of tried to run over me. When he was tackled, normally before he came to me, people already had a leg or arm of Jonah, But what a special player he was. Again, such a humble man off the field. And I was very fortunate that I could, once or twice, when I played against him, I had a nice chat to him afterwards. And he, even his All Black jersey, he swapped with me the one time. That was really, really cool. But certainly, a guy that was frightening in a way, and was good for rugby. Like I said, the ambassador that he was for rugby. A lot of kids wanted to play rugby, and especially in New Zealand. Everybody wanted to be Jonah Lomu. And but that being said, that today, I was always asked the question, Brady, being smaller, don't you think it's a disadvantage? But I've always fought it with fire, because I said that, if a guy can score 2 or 3 tries a game, doesn't matter how big or small he is, you should pick him. And looking at Jason Colby, for instance, these days, in my opinion, the best rugby player in the world currently. It's just phenomenal how he, changed the perception of so many people. And I fought it for years. And it's good to see that, there are still smaller guys who can make a big difference in rugby.
And Jonah Lomu never scored against the Boks.
Exactly, Lee. Hey, you get your facts right, man. That's a proud sort of statistic and record that we have defended, and obviously my soul rest in peace. Jonah was so good, and the respect we always had, the mutual respect between the Springboks and the All Blacks is phenomenal. Lee, we can bug ourselves up, we can go crazy and angry and go berserk on the field, when the Boks and All Blacks play. But I tell you what, after the game, the guys always have a drink together. They always have a bit of a chat together, and that's a wonderful beauty of sport, and especially rugby. The guys are they're like hooligans in the field, but when they're off the field, they are certainly gentlemen. And for that, I take my hat off. That kind of tradition must never leave the game of rugby. Where there's the mutual respect off the field.
Now, Brady, there's no doubt that the cycling bug has bitten you badly, because wow, just looking at your Instagram, I mean, you love it.
Yeah, Lee, man, I don't know whether it's good or bad. The good thing is that, obviously you try and stay in shape. But the bad thing is some of those hills, man, it makes you suffer. It makes you speak to the devil sometimes because I'm like, sometimes, what the hell am I doing here? But wow, what a wonderful sport. What an amazing sport that I got into. And I used to be an avid golfer. And, since 4 years ago when I started cycling, I've never looked back. And even when my golf mates call me, they know that the chances are 20% that I might join them at the golf course. So yeah, to an extent that I certainly said goodbye to the game of golf. So yeah, I've met some great people along the way and got great advice. Some of the pros that I've met. But for me, I call myself a coffee rider. I just love being on the bicycle, whether it's in the mountains or on the road. And really, there's a nice camaraderie about cyclists that I've never knew existed. And now that I understand the sport a little bit more, I do have respect, the greatest respect for the pros. I've been fortunate to meet some of our heroes, the likes of, Nolan Hoffman, Javier Krieger, to mention a few. And I tell you what, it's a hard work being a professional cyclist. It's not easy. And I do have the most admiration for those guys who put in the work they do.
No, it certainly is a sport, I think, that requires a lot of dedication and a lot of time as well. But Brady, how else have you been keeping busy? We mentioned already that, you 2007 was the year that you played your last test. The last 14 years, I mean, I know Talks and Chops is, seen as, an institution, on Cape Net. Tell us a little bit about some of the other things you do.
Yeah, Lee. So obviously, Supersport has been keeping us busy as well. We've been very fortunate to finish the British and Irish Lions series. I was quite involved a bit, and it was wonderful, from a fan's perspective and an analyst. And obviously, me and my big mate Toka, I'm trying to get him on an e-bike one day, but we're getting there. It's kind of hard. So we started a new show as well. It's called No Tour, where we, because of COVID and the pandemic, that hit us hard in some time and hit tourism hard. We've been spending a lot of time in Namibia and South Africa. So we've sort of take legends from the past, the likes of Rana Bena, Florida Priya. We spoke to Jacques Burger from Namibia, and we go to these exotic places where, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, it's been standing almost empty, if you like. And now we just want to put a sort of a nice feel to it and tell people that, obviously when things are getting better, that please go and visit our local places. It is amazing. Namibia is one wonderful country. I love the country, so much. I love South Africa. And there's places that people haven't been to. I mean, the other day we went to Nelspruit. We've explored Nelspruit. The other day we went to the West Coast. It's a beautiful part of South Africa and the Western Cape. And then we went to the middle of Sandton, and next week ago we get to go to Namibia. So, it's been a lot of traveling, a lot of touring, and obviously, with the charities I've been involved as well the last couple of years. So, doing TV work and all these shows, it certainly keeps you busy, and it takes a lot of sacrifice sometimes. But, I think, again, the pandemic has learned us that we must be appreciative of what we have. And again, I take it back to my rugby days when I say to myself, if it was easy, everybody would do it. So, you got to sacrifice. And if it's hard, then at the end of the day, it will repay you in some way. People, I don't think people understand always, the work that goes into productions and all these kind of things behind the scenes. I mean, as well, especially in TV, if you're not prepared and you don't work hard, you certainly won't see the success, that comes along the way. But I always say to people as well who wants to go into, media and TV and all this kind of things, make sure that you work hard, make sure that you're always prepared, and then it's not going to feel like work. It's going to feel like a breeze, and because when you love what you do, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like your passion that you have for what you do. It's a special thing, and I really do enjoy the TV stuff because you meet wonderful people, and behind the scenes, it's always a fun and banter that goes behind the scenes and also makes it worth it.
Indeed. I think you've also got so much to give back to, in general, from the lessons that you've learned along your way. But Brayton, in terms of lockdown, how did that treat you? Did you come out all right on the other side?
Yeah, geez, I'm still here, so I'm happy. I'm happy and grateful to be here still. You know, Lee. I mean, it was a massive mental test, I think, for everybody. And you know, I'm just happy. You know, that a lot of people survived this. You know, the horrible pandemic. I mean, we've lost a lot of good people along the way. You know, let's be honest, it wasn't easy and still is very, very tough. I think this virus is certainly not tired. I think we are all a little bit tired, but this virus is not tired. So we need to take extra caution these days. Thankfully, I haven't had it, you know, and but the mental side of it, I think, has become a massive issue for a lot of people, and you know, we need to reach out to those people who've been mentally affected, and also to the people that has certainly, you know, they had it on a very bad scale. I think people do recover a little bit longer. Some obviously recover, you know, quicker than others, and we need to show compassion these days. You know, that's all we can do to help our brothers and sisters and neighbors in these difficult times, even if you don't know them. You know, I think what this virus has learned is that for us to reach out to strangers as well, and of late as well. Even if, you know, when I think of somebody, I call them, because I think that is the pandemic has learned us that time is precious, and you're not guaranteed, you know, tomorrow. So that's just my sort of, you know, way of doing things these days, is that in some way this virus has learned us that we need to, you know, appreciate each other and make sure that we're there for each other, and especially, you know, to the people who are struggling. I mean, I can feel and I can resonate to people who are really, really struggling, because, you know, I know what it is, and my heart certainly goes out to them, and especially we appeal to the big corporates, you know, in these days, you know, if they can, to help those people in need, because you know, without them, this country won't become a better place. And there's one thing that I also have dear to my heart, is that, you know, I will always hope, and I will always believe that this country will get better in years to come, despite our challenges.
Brayton, just on that note, what are your thoughts on the role that education plays in the success of a country?
Education is massive, and sadly, you know, we're living in a time where education is not always accessible to, especially, you know, our kids in the townships and previously disadvantaged places, you know. And for whatever reason, a lot of things happen that you know, they don't always, you know, get to school. There's so many, you know, sort of areas we can go into, but I mean, I don't want to go into that now. But for me, you know, as a farm boy growing up, I just had to make sure that I get good marks. And I suppose if I didn't have also the good marks to go to university, you know, my dream would have been shattered as well. And listen, we can't change the world, but if we can at least touch, you know, one or two, you know, kids who have the potential, to make sure that at least, although they have good, you know, sporting genes, if they can balance the education as well, to make sure that they can get the good points for people to help them and send them to university, that'll make a massive difference. And it's something that we need to hold on to, because it's such a powerful tool. And I mean, going back, you know, Madiba said as well, you know, sport has the power to change the world, and so is education. And I think, if anything, if you don't have lots, if you can at least enrich yourself with education, you know, the world could be your oyster, and a lot of doors will open for you. So, I mean, that's my message to, you know, to kids who sometimes doesn't have hope and goes to bed hungry at night, because let's be honest, you know, the reality of South Africa is that sadly, a lot of kids, you know, don't always get, you know, the love that they supposed to get, and especially with the situation in South Africa, where there's a lot of single moms and dads, you know, kids grow up very, very tough. You know, I do feel that, because, you know, I was in the same situation, and we need to find those raw diamonds and make sure that we can change their lives and make them believe again that there are people who care for them and love them.
That's a great message, Brayton. Thank you so much. It was wonderful chatting to you. Thank you for your time, and all the best going forward.
Hey, Lee, stay as energetic as you are, man. I love that smile of yours, and keep inspiring people around you too. And thanks for the chat. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm dancing, I'm popping now. My dancing is popping now. Yeah, I'm dancing, I'm popping now. My dancing is popping now. Yeah, I'm dancing, I'm popping now. My dancing is popping now. Yeah, I'm dancing, I'm popping now. My dancing is popping now. I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing, I'm dancing,
told you every single time, don't you worry. You would always call me at the wrong time, so you can know what I was up to. Oh, don't you get that it's just stupid? Hey, just hear me out. It's been a while since we were good, so why we dragging out when we've been doing everything we could? I don't wanna feel so lonely tonight. Every time we spend time, I wanna do this for the last time. I don't need it, no, I don't need it, no. Don't need you here to feel alright.
with some great athletes and friends. People, some of these people I didn't even know before I started this ride. But I tell you what, have I learned a lot. They dug deep, had to dig into a lot of resolve, and also have come out fighting, and they also had to go through what I call a very difficult spot. Every one of these riders, you can ask them, did they have a bad day on their bike? You'll probably find some of them will say a couple of days, but that is what life is all about. It's about digging deep into one's reserves, and not only that, but knowing that the next day there's opportunity, and life's all about attitude. And I stand here before you as a human being, and I see a lot of potential in each and every one of you. And I am one of the founders of Thompson Smiley Foundation, and I've got a tremendous support crew behind me and partners in the foundation. We honestly salute you, and we encourage you to go out and take every opportunity that comes your way. We are playing our role in creating the opportunity for bursaries, and we truly are happy to be able to do that. So I'd like to just start handing across the medals, if I can, to the participants of the ride. So, Gordy, if you could just, Gordon's going to hand them out. So, okay, yep. So the first one is to. Sorry, I didn't bring my glasses. That's what happens. That's what happens when you're just touching on 60. You need glasses. So you got. Okay, the first recipient is a gentleman who I have a lot of respect for. He started the tour saying he was going to attack, and about on the third day that attack became attack. And on the last couple of days, I said, Henry, I'm not hearing you say attack. Well, I think he was tired of attacking. So Henry, well done, buddy. We've also got a couple of professionals with us here today, professional bike riders. This is a professional who's made his mark. I learned a little bit about him as well. He's not only good on a bicycle, he's pretty good in the water as well, and is quite I believe a very good triathlete as well. But a person who's dynamite on his mountain bike, having won numerous events, Peter Seifritz. Absolute pleasure with you riding with you, Pete. Our media guru, a lady who I've come to really respect and admire for her tenacity and also courage and determination in wanting to finish something she starts. Teresa, well done. Okay, the next rider is somebody you will all know down in the Cape. He's won many of the events here. I think he likes the Cape. It used to be called the Argus, I think, and now it's called the Cape Town Tour. He is South African pristine cyclist. And if anybody is a young cyclist here who wants to model their career around, it's this gentleman. He is dynamite on a bicycle. None other than Nolan Hoffman. And then another ex-pro who did a lot of his racing overseas. He is a local boy here, and he kept reminding me that he's getting closer to home, which was quite exciting to hear. I've known him, I've done a number of cycle tours with Kevy, and Kevy, absolute little dynamite on a bicycle. Thank you. Okay, and somebody who is a little, you know, they say little things come in, little dynamite comes in small packages. Well, I tell you what, I've had the privilege of riding with this young lady. She is a young lady, but she is power. She podiums on most of the events in her age category and really is an incredible rider. None other than Bonnie Swanepoel. All right, the next rider is a rider who is a yellow jersey rider. He took the yellow jersey halfway through the tour, and although he slipped out of it, he refuses to give it back. Also rode semi-professionally and an incredible rider. I've had the fortune enough to have known him for many years, done some tours with him. Incredibly strong on the bike, but the most important part of Alistair, a man with a huge heart and always willing to help, no matter what. Alistair, thanks, buddy. Okay. And we've left the biggest lad for last. Okay? This gentleman is an ex-provincial rugby player, having played provincial rugby for many provinces, and he's big and he's strong and he sits on the front and he blocks the wind for everyone else. But he's an incredibly strong rider, and I've had the absolute privilege of being able to say I've ridden with Terence Stewart. Guys, just to let you know that these people have ridden for the last 12 days. Who knows where Pont Drift is? Who knows their geography? Okay, Pont Drift is on the border of Zimbabwe and Botswana. It's 2,100 kilometers away. We've ridden 2,100 kilometers in 12 days with an average close to 180 kilometers each day. And it's been on our road bikes as well as our mountain bikes. So we've come through the Tankwa Desert on our mountain bikes, we've done some road biking, but a hell of a long way to ride. My sort of encouragement to you is everything is possible in life. If you thought, if I told my dad one day that he would ride on his, they used to call them push bikes in their day, you'd have to ride from Pontriff to Cape Town on his push bike, he would have said it was impossible. I think what we are demonstrating today is everything is possible in life. So we really thank you very, very much for your being here today and for the privilege of being part and parcel of a contribution to your school. I'd like to just also give medals to the participating support team, which is Wesley, Gordon, and Butter. So Butter, if you wouldn't mind just coming up and accepting your medal as well.
Well done,
Thank you. Thanks, Peter. Thanks for all your help. Really, really appreciate it.
And to my son Wesley, who's been very instrumental in helping me put this tour together. It's been on and off for the last year and a bit because of COVID. It's been the restrictions have played havoc, but we're finally here. Wes, your contribution has been absolutely fundamentally important. Thank you very much. And then a gentleman who's first on the list to do it next year for you, a good friend of mine as well, Gordon Smiley. He is obviously one of the members of the foundation. Gordy, thank you for your input. We really need to give it to the
Thank you very much. Well, let's start with the gentleman by the name of Peter Thompson. He astounds you with his energy, his foresight, and his vision. This was all his brainchild, so to be honest. And he's put this thing together tirelessly over the last 2 years with the help from myself and Wes. And it's really come out really nicely, really well done, Pete. Also as a rider, I don't want to give your age away, but you could be the oldest guy on stage, other than me, of course. So for him to do this is an absolutely unbelievable feat. Peter, well done, mate. Hats off to you and a great ride.
And then lastly, without our sponsors, none of this would be possible. I mean, we just rode the distance, we covered the distances, but we did actually ride on behalf of sponsors. So to Durasec, our biggest sponsor of the tour, thank you so much for your generous contribution. To BCRCA, to all the sponsors that have been involved. It's really been absolutely tremendous that you've contributed, and there were some minor sponsors as well who gave us kits, peripheries, nutrition sponsorships. We thank each and every one of them. They've really been fantastic. Then I just wanted to say that we would like to hand across to the two recipients, or the two bursary members. We've given them a medal too, as well as obviously we've brought all the way down from Pontriff to Bobad, or a couple of Bobad seeds that we would like them to nurture and grow into fine trees. So I don't know which of them are here. I think there is one or two of them here, or there is one here. Am I correct? Kira Knight. And the other recipient is Melanie. So, Kieran, here is your medal. We wrote it for you on your behalf, and there are your baobab tree seeds. It tells you how to cultivate them and to try and grow them. We don't know how well the baobab trees will do in Cape Town, but I do know one thing, is they won't grow upright. Because of the wind, they should grow sort of upright. But really, thank you very much. Thank you for... Okay, and then if we can just hand this across to that's probably that's right.